everybody, thanks for checking out this video by the Parakeet Perch on Parakeet Cage Setup. While it's a lot of fun to just go out and grab a cage and some cute accessories and put them together, it's actually better to make an informed decision about what cage you get and what you put in that cage to make sure that you're providing the best environment for your budgie. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, and we're going to start by talking about the actual cage. What you want to make sure of is that you get a cage that's large enough for your bird or birds. Especially if you have multiple birds like I do, you want to get a cage that's big enough for them to move around in, fly if you're allowing them to stay flighted, and to also get some space away from each other when they need it. This particular cage here is 14 inches deep, and it's 22 inches tall, and then it's 24 inches long. So plenty of room for them to move around and fly and climb and pretty much do whatever they want to do. So it works out really great. Also, if you notice on this cage, we have square corners. It's better to get a cage with square corners because a lot of times when budgies are frightened, they will seek out a corner to kind of hide or huddle in. If you've got a cage with rounded corners, they don't have that option. So it's always better to give them something that's more of a rectangular or square shape. Alright, so next let's talk a little bit about perches, and in just a moment we will show you some perches that you'll want to consider buying for your bird. The most important thing is you want to provide perches that are of varying width so that your birds don't always have to sit with their feet in the same position. Here's what I would suggest that you get. Here's a little bit more about the food and water containers that you'll want to provide your budgie. Another thing that you want to provide your birds in their cage is some type of a mineral block or a cuttlebone so that they can not only gnaw on it and keep their beaks worn down, they can also get some much needed calcium and additional minerals in their diet. Especially important if you've got a female bird that might be producing eggs. Alright, now we get to the fun part. You want to make sure to provide your birds with plenty of toys. Budgies are very active, very curious, and very smart little birds, so they enjoy having toys in their environment. Make sure not to provide so many toys that they don't have room to move around in their cage. I usually keep about 2 or 3 toys in there, and I also make sure that I have something like this birdie kebab here that they can actually gnaw on and shred. This is important also because they do love to shred things, especially if you've got a female and it's springtime or breeding season. They will go through this like in a day or two, which is crazy. But anyway, so always have a little chew toy for them, but there are a ton of toys on the market. There's this really cool little basketball toy which mine enjoy. There's actually a video I've provided where I taught one of the birds how to dunk the ball in the basket. So that's just one of the things that you can provide. But again, there are tons of different things. One of the tips that I would offer is to make sure to rotate the toys out. So maybe put a couple of toys in there one week and then take those toys out maybe when you do the main cleaning on your cage, and switch them out for new toys so that they always have something interesting and new to play with. About this little contraption here that you see on the left side of my cage. That is actually a nesting box that I installed. It did not come with the cage, but I thought that they might be a breeding pair, so I wanted to make sure I had a nesting box available. That's up to you whether you want to provide that. So there is another video that I have on how to install that if you're interested in learning a little bit more about how to attach one of those to your cage. So the next thing you want to make sure that you have in your cage is some type of a liner along the bottom. Birds, despite their cute little nature, are very, very messy. So anything you can provide that helps with cleanup is definitely going to be a welcome addition for you. Trust me. So what I get is some of the free local newspapers, and I just take a couple of layers and put them along the bottom. There are actual page liners that you can purchase from a pet store, but I find that newspaper works just fine. Alright, the last thing I want to talk about a little bit is just the configuration of things within your cage. There are a couple of decisions you can make about where to put things that may make cleaning easier, make it a better environment for your birds. For instance, never put perches above the food and water bowls if you can avoid it, because there will be droppings in your food and water bowls if you do that. Also, if you find that your bird has a favorite toy or likes chewing on the cuttlebone or the mineral block a lot, you can put that near a concrete perch to entice them to sit on that perch more often. That can actually help keep their nails worn down. Also, make sure to leave plenty of room for your birds to get exercise through the cage. Although there are lots of cool toys and accessories and it's easy to fill the cage up with lots of clutter, make sure to leave enough space for the birds to fly around or at least climb around the cage and get their exercise. Alright, well that's pretty much it on the basics of parakeet cage setup. Hopefully you enjoyed our video. If you did so, please make sure to like it, comment, and share with your friends, and we'll see you in the next video by the Parakeet Perch.